Board Member Ramiro Inguanzo. Board Member Lynn Matos.
Present.
Board Member Marilyn Ruano is absent. Board Member Javier Ley Soto.
Present.
And Board Member Juan Carlos Fernandez.
Present.
Very well. So now we proceed with a moment of silence or a prayer led by the Deputy Town Attorney Lorenzo Coviela.
Let's bow our heads in silence. Dear Lord, we thank you for this opportunity to be here and gather residents of this town and staff members and all an elected body representatives here all together to look at this great document, which is our charter. It's our constitution and what binds and holds our city and most important document in our town. We ask you, Lord, as we're going to be in the next several months, looking at this document and thinking about ways that we can make it stronger and better and a document that will serve all of our residents and visitors and business owners, that you please guide us and give us your Holy Spirit to guide our conversations so that we may do the right thing, always to serve you. And we ask this, Lord, and always in your name. Amen. So, Holy Spirit.
Now, the town manager, Ed Peterman, will lead us into the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, very well. We're going to proceed again with the order of the agenda, public comments. And as I always state in every meeting, public comments will be heard at the beginning of each meeting, and each speaker will be able to speak for 3 minutes. All public comments from the public shall be directed to the chairman, and no person other than the chairman and the person recognized by the town attorney as having the floor shall be permitted to enter the discussion. Public comments, as always, are allowed here in council chambers, but as well online. So if any member of the public wishes to speak, the only thing they need to do is raise the hand by clicking on the reactions icon and selecting raise hand. And town staff, our IT department, will allow them to participate. So I don't see, we don't have any participants. So, and is anyone in the public here wishes to speak? Please just approach the podium and state your name and address for the record. No public comment. So no public comment, Mr. Town Attorney.
Okay, so welcome, all of you. It has been 10 years since our last Charter Review Commission gathered, and in that commission, there were several sweeping changes to our charter, and there will be, I'm sure, with this commission that is meeting, this board, there'll be more changes that will reflect the growth of our town. And our town was very different 10 years ago, and today we're all going to kind of have the opportunity to start thinking. Staff is gathering some of its concerns, and I definitely, and Gina will be presenting some things that we've seen in the charter that are inconsistencies and cleanup, and you will all have the opportunity to also weigh in and provide your feedback. It's really important what you're doing. I think it's one of the most important things, service that you can do as a resident of this town is be part of this committee. Again, the charter is our constitution. Once you make whatever decisions you decide, whatever changes you all vote as a body, it will go for a referendum. It will go before the council, but it will ultimately go for a referendum before all of our residents for a final vote. And once adopted, it's the law of the land. It's the law of this town. So, congratulations to all of you. And I will be praying for all of you because it's a monumental task that you're all undertaking. Tonight is really trying to get our ducks in a row as to what we're doing here. And again, you'll have before you the charter, and you should read it and again, have thoughts as to what you would like for that charter to look like as far as changes are concerned going forward. And I'm going to go into some of the rules that kind of will regulate your decision making and your actions as a body shortly. We will also be voting for a chair and a vice chair, and we'll be doing that in tonight's meeting. And we'll also be talking about our schedule and procedures. So I'm going to kind of go a little bit out of order and talk first of all, so we set expectations. We have to be done by the last week of May. Why? Because whatever you vote on ultimately has to go before the council and then has to go, and the council's role then is pretty much ministerial at that point, because then they're the ones who are going to instruct whatever you vote to go to the elections department so that it can be voted on by the residents. And that's going to take some time, right? Because also what you vote on has to be done in a specific format. It has to be done, passed by resolution, and then forwarded on to the elections department. So that being said, we are proposing 2 meetings a month to be on the second and fourth Thursday of every month. Okay. We know that many of you are not going to be able to make it to every single meeting. I want you to be at every single meeting. I think it's important. It's unfortunate that we don't have a full, we don't have all the members here tonight, but things happen. It's going to be difficult. You're volunteers. You're not getting paid to do this. But to the extent that you can, we'd like you to be here every second and fourth Thursday, and it'll be here in chambers at 6:30. Okay. And because this does require also your consent, I would like a motion, a second, and a full approval if possible. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any against? All right, the ayes have it. Thank you very much for that. See, the most difficult part of the night is over. All right. Starting in January. Yes. Starting in January. All right. So, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Gina.
To assist in this process and make it easy for you, I think tomorrow you'll be getting an invite so that you have it in the calendar of all the 3 or 4 months. If we don't need them, that's fine, but you're going to receive the invites. Please accept. And always feel free to reach out to me. You all have my emails, and I will try always to respond promptly.
So the role of myself and Raul Gastesi, who is the town attorney, myself as your deputy, is to pretty much help and guide you in this process. Since the charter is a legal document, there are things that we can add to the charter and things that we cannot add to the charter. So we'll help guide that conversation and help you as you determine what are things that you want to amend in the charter. And that's really our role, is to facilitate that conversation. Besides myself, you have Gina, Ms. Nguanzo, the town clerk, who is here to, again, do the roll call, make sure that you all have make sure that you're all notified as to our public meetings, and also make sure that anything that you wish to distribute or disseminate to the other members or wish to distribute is done so. She is the custodian of records for the town of Miami Lakes. That being said, and again, I'm going to jump around a little bit, okay, is anything that you write and anything that you put on your social media page, anything that you email, anything of that nature that really is of a document of sorts is considered a public document. Now, you are a public board, so anything that you have is a public document. And that's important to know, because if a public records request is made, and Mr. Ley Soto knows very much well the subject, it needs to be provided to the person who has requested that public record. So it's important that, again, you keep that in mind in case that ever comes up. And also, if you have anything that you wish to be made part of the record, that you do provide it to Ms. Nguanzo. So that way we're able to comply with any record requests that are made in a timely fashion. Any questions on that? Yes, Dr. Bennett.
Just quickly, last time in 2016, what I recommended as chair then was that everyone to go ahead and make a new personal email address and do all your correspondence through this email address with Gina. don't use your general one that you use for yourself and your business and your correspondence. If you isolate it, then all the records will be in one place. And if there is ever a public records request, it'll be one place. You don't have to worry about searching it, and you don't have to worry about them going through any personal records. So I recommend, a Gmail account. I've already set one up, and I'll be sending Gina my new address following.
That's certainly good advice, Dr. Bennett.
Thank you.
It's not required, but that is good advice. With that being said, the other part is sunshine law. And I'll just be very brief. All of you have experience. I know that I'm not dealing with novices, but just quickly understand that anything with regards to this meeting, with regards to the charter, is something that you must not have a conversations amongst yourselves outside of this venue, outside of the second and fourth Thursday of every month. Okay. And that's sometimes in a small town like Miami Lakes. I mean, we're small, but we're not that small, but we all know each other. We all see each other in Publix. We all see each other, at different events. And it's very tempting, I'm sure, to have that conversation. Avoid it. You should not have that conversation at all. Because again, that violates sunshine. What is sunshine? Sunshine is any type of communication between one or more board members, two or more board members of the same body, discussing something which will or may come before you for a vote. All right. So in a nutshell, that's what sunshine is. Don't have any communication. What is communication? Communication could be Facebook. It could be posting on something. Hey, look, we should change this in the charter. And then all of a sudden, Javi puts that and then Hector is responding to it. That's a sunshine violation. It's a text communications. It's a fax. It's conversation. It's any communication whatsoever. Okay, so avoid it. All right. And then, of course, where it becomes a problem is when you have these text messages, if you do and you violate it, and then it becomes subject of a public records request. Now you have egg on your face and the town has egg on its face. And there could be serious penalties to it, among them criminal penalties. So please avoid doing that at all costs.
Can I intervene?
Yep.
Just say, and something that not everybody kind of puts two and two together is aware of, that you can also not use a third party to get around sunshine. So you can't go to your buddy who also knows so-and-so and say, hey, can you tell so-and-so that this is what I'm thinking? You cannot use you can't use any of us. You can't use any third party to try and circumvent the sunshine law.
Any questions on sunshine?
I have a question.
Yes.
As a non-voting member, am I also,
Yes.
yeah,
To some extent. I would completely avoid it. So all of you are voting members with the exception of Councilman Fernandez. And the reason that I would say no is that you're going to be participating in the discussions and the conversations. You're part of this body. And so there may come a time where you may want to move an item forward, even though you can't vote on it and influence a vote one way or another. So to the extent that you're able to kind of do that, I would avoid any conversations. So for instance, there may be something which one of you want to push forward and you feel like, hey, look, I'm gonna use first name basis. Is that okay for everybody if I use first name basis? I don't want to offend anybody, but let's say, Councilman JC over here is talking to Javi, and Javi's like, man, I'm seeing this big issue, and it's a big issue in Miami-Dade College, and I think that, we got to push it, but it's going to sound a lot better if it's from you, Councilman, and it comes from me. Go ahead and present it, and then I'll make the motion, and then, we'll get the votes that way. You're violating sunshine, essentially. You could, right? So avoid it altogether, okay? And as tempting as it may seem. Now, you can have a conversation with your other colleagues all day long. So any other council member can have a vote because you're not going to be voting on the item itself. So if you have, and again, I would be careful on that one too, because it could be that it's not coming up before this body, but then later it comes up before your body. So you got to be a little bit careful. But that being said, in an open forum, you can get advice from your other colleagues and find out what their thoughts are, and then report back over here. That would be okay. But I would do that also in public. I'd be careful about not doing that behind the scenes. Okay? Now, from any other resident, you can have a conversation. That one you're okay with. All right. All right, so we've covered Florida Sunshine Law, and Florida Public Records Law. Any questions on those items? No? Anything I'm missing? I'm looking towards Harry because, I mean, I call him for advice all the time, so if I'm missing something, please
I'm
tell
trying not to put on my lawyer hat.
me. No, please.
No,
Please
no,
let me know.
you, like I'm, just to reiterate that everything he says, and obviously the suggestion from Dr. Bennett as well as, one other suggestion that I've always given in with my boards is when you do create those independent emails also is if you do get communications at your regular email addresses, just simply forward them into that box so that way you have one repository of everything. That's always very helpful as well. And obviously it's just being, as Lorenzo was explaining, is just be more cautious. If you have any hesitation or any doubt, is always reach out to any of the staff members who you can have those conversations with rather than internally. And if you're out in public, is just just being more cognizant about everything. It's about trust from the public. It comes directly by your actions, and the more strict you can be about it, even if it's going above and beyond what it's required, the more trust people are going to have, because if they know that you're really tight about it and you're just not having these conversations that maybe it's in the gray area, it's always going to come out much better, and then they'll have more trust in everything in the whole process, and that's really what we want here.
Mr. Nguanzo, am I missing anything?
I think between the two attorneys.
All right.
One last
and-
suggestion, though.
Yes.
Generally, what we did is any questions, we put it through Gina, and Gina
Yes.
it to whoever we needed. If you have any questions or any concerns, go through Gina and you're covered.
Yeah.
And then you don't have to worry about anything, and then she'll route it to whoever she needs to route it to. And then they'll get back to you, or, or to the whole committee.
Equally, if you have any questions moving forward, you can always call me or call Raul. I mean, we're pretty much available. We're pretty accessible. Just, we can filter it out. All right, so that's pretty much covers public records law and sunshine. Anything missing? Gina, we're good? All right. So the other part is, and about routing through Gina, Dr. Bennett, that's a good point, is that as you will elect the chair and you will elect the vice chair. The chair will work with the clerk as far as the agenda. There are items that you're going to want to put on the agenda, right? Because you're going to have ideas of things that you want to see changes and things you want to add to the charter, things you want to discuss. So the way that's going to work is you're going to email the clerk. The clerk is going to, you're not going to email each other, just going to email the clerk. The clerk will then have the discussion with the chair, and that will be how the agenda will be constructed. You're not to contact the chair directly. I would avoid that at all costs, okay? Whoever the chair is, we don't know.
And
It's whoever you decide.
and let me just add, 10 years ago, I did participate in the previous commission. And I think it was very organized, just food for thought. We had like 6 meetings in 3 months. The first meeting was in January. It ended in March. And I was looking at the minutes, reviewing in the last week just to provide you this information. We went in order. So of course, in the January meetings, we start in the order of the charter. We're not going to be jumping around. And I think in every meeting, and again, Dr. Bennett and Mr. Nguanzo, that you were part of that former commission review, I think you basically discuss like 2 sections of the charter per meeting. And I'm giving you this information this is a different board, but I think every meeting was probably 2 hours, maybe 2 hours and a half. I don't think there was a meeting that went longer. It was a respectful commission, and you had, exchanged good thoughts, but just so that you can understand, you're going to go in order. And yes, I'm going to work with whoever gets elected as a chair, but you all can provide me emails saying, hey, on this section, I have the following thoughts. Can you please add that to the agenda? Because it is the agenda of all of you, of the board. Okay, so I just wanted to, and you will have deadlines that I will share with you, because we do have to always respect to make an agenda well in advance. So I will give you all this feedback via emails once we set the schedules, so that you know when it's the deadline to provide me your opinions so that I can attach to the agenda. Okay, so that we meet the deadlines.
Perfect. The next thing is, and you have here in your agenda, is the conflict of interest and the code of ethics ordinance. And this is Miami-Dade counties. We also follow Florida. Miami-Dade counties is stricter than the state of Florida's code of ethics. And really what I want you to understand of this is, during your time here as a board member, be again, as Javi said, Mr. Lay Soto said, is be just vigilant, be a little bit more cautious as to folks who may be approaching you or asking things of you, or if they give you a nice gift, if you do this or whatnot, that's inappropriate. You can't do that. And I'm being very light on it. Read it. If you have any questions on it, ask. Also, if you feel that any item comes up, can't imagine what it could be, but if you feel that you may have a conflict or you feel that you should abstain from voting, understand that as a board member, you must vote unless you have a conflict. That's Florida law, right? You are an extension right now serving a purpose of government. So you have to follow to Florida statute as when it comes to voting and for conflicts. Again, if anything comes up, anything at all that you feel a little weary about a situation, please call me. Please talk to me first before you take any action, and we'll speak it through, and we'll come up to I'll try to guide you in making a decision. Okay? Does that make sense? I don't want to go through the whole thing because there's a lot of things here that pertain to you. There's a lot of things here that do not pertain to you. The majority doesn't. There's a few things, but the majority is, again, use common sense. Okay? Right. No? But anything you want to add, Mr. Guanzo, on that, Javi, on the code of ethics as it pertains to this board? All right. If you do, please jump in. All right, now we get into the meat and potatoes. Your first decision tonight. You must elect a chair and a vice chair. All right, so the way that this is usually done, again, it has to be done out in the open, is someone can make a nomination for a chair, then that has to be, and you cannot vote on that. And then it's seconded, and then we'll do that the same for we'll have a vote, and then we'll do the same thing for the vice chair. So, yes.
And briefly, again, I haven't shared this with you. I thought it would be a good exercise if all of you can, give an introduction of a little bit about yourself for a minute,
Great idea.
because I know you all know of each other, but it's good information. I think it's relevant. This is being live streamed. This is being recorded. It's going to stay always. It's a public record. If you can just say a short statement about yourself for the benefit of our residents as well. And we may start with Dr. Bennett. I'm going to start in the corner.
Well, and good evening, fellow commissioners. Dr. Dave Bennett, please call me Dave. I don't, titles are only one in my office. I was the chair of the commission in 2016, which was pretty hectic at the time between running 2 practices and also doing that. Now I'm semi-retired. I'm willing to volunteer for chair or vice chair. I don't see any problem. We did really good. Last time we were done in about 3.5 months. The committee was incredible. We had Mirtha in that committee, among others. And if anybody understood the town charter, she did. And I'll miss her dearly this time around. As I said, I'm semi-retired now, so I have more time. So things are a little bit easier. So I will volunteer for chair or vice chair if you need, in case all of you that are still working don't have the time to be the liaison. Thank you.
All right, so my name is Hector Abad. I'm a school social worker with Miami-Dade County Public Schools. I've been a resident of the town since 2001. Like I said, in the past, I've raised my family here. I work here. I've been the social worker at Goldman for over 30 years. Well, 25 years. I'm sorry. That's 98, 27 years. 95, 30 years. I'm sorry. At Miami Lakes Middle, 18 years. Again, I was the chair of the Education Advisory Board. I was one of the founding members of the Mental Health Task Force. Personally, I don't care about titles, so to me, it's not about nominations. I just want to do whatever's best for the residents. And like I said, I'm looking forward to listening to your ideas, to what things you feel like needs to be improved. I would love to have more residents actually show up and give some input. But other than that, like I said, I'm here to serve and do whatever's needed of me.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Ramiro Nguanzo. I've also moved to the town of Miami Lakes in 2001. raised our family here, 3 children who attended local schools and are now in college. Been involved with the town in a couple of different initiatives. I had the pleasure of serving with Dr. Bennett on this commission about 10 years ago. Also had the opportunity to serve on the town manager selection committee, which did a great job, obviously, because it selected such a great manager. So it's a pleasure to be here again to serve with you, with Dr. Bennett and all of you. Really looking forward to the process. So thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Javier Lesoto. I'm a proud resident here. I'm also raising my 2 sons who are attending school here locally. And I am currently the general counsel at Miami-Dade College, where I've been for the past 9.5 years or so now. And before that, I was the regional general counsel for the Florida Department of Children and Families. And before that, I was in private practice, and now I'm practicing a little over 20 years, coming up on my 21st year of practicing law here in South Florida. I'm also very involved in the community. I'm the immediate past president of the Cuban American Bar Association, which is one of the largest bar associations in the state of Florida. And very involved in its various committees, including its pro bono committee or its pro bono legal services organization, as well as its Cuban American Bar Foundation. I'm also a proud committee member for many years of the Neighborhood Improvement Committee, and been involved in various aspects here in the town. And I'm looking forward to this process. And as Mr. Nguanzo had stated, as well as, I want, and the others, I really were looking forward to hear from the community members. In addition to what our thoughts are going to be on this and seeing what's been done is, we're going to be setting what our charter is going to be for the next 10 years. And, I think it's very important to hear what our community members, we're, as we say, we're growing beautifully, and I want to make sure that we continue to do that. And hearing from the community members is going to be first and foremost. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lynn Matos. I'm a 31-year resident of Miami Lakes, proud Miami Laker. I have sat on the Planning and Zoning, or served on the Planning and Zoning Board for 5 years. I am appointed to the Unsafe Structures Board for Miami-Dade County. Been doing that for a number of years. I'm a realtor with RE/MAX, 43 years in the business. I have an interesting insight on property values and what happens in our town. I've been involved in a few things over the years. Youth Activities Task Force, Cultural Affairs, Public Safety, every special event board, and Community Service Board, I think that's been here, I've been part of. And I'm the proud operator and co-founder of the award-winning Miami Lakes Food and Wine Festival. And I want to echo some of the thoughts that have been shared. I think the single most important thing to me is feedback and input from the public, and also from the town staff, who are truly boots on the ground, and their input is invaluable. So I'm here to work hard. I don't need a title, or I don't need to sit at the head of the table. I've done that. I'm here to work. I am anxious to get started. Let's do this. I'm honored to serve with all of you. This is a great group of people, true Miami Lakers in every sense of the word. So thank you so much for all being here together tonight. It's a great start. Thank you.
Okay, and with that, we'll open the floor for nominations. No? Okay.
I'd like
Okay.
to make a nomination. Javier Lesoto for chair, please.
I was going to second
Probably.
that too.
Okay. We have a second. Any discussion? Well, let's do a vote first on the chair, and then we'll go to the vice chair.
So I'm going to proceed with a roll call. And I'm going to go just in order. Board Member Abad.
So we're just voting for,
For chair, a motion by Board Member Nguanzo, seconded by Board Member Bennett, nominating Javier Lesoto as the chair of the board. Board Member Abad.
yes.
Board Member Bennett.
Yes.
Board Member Nguanzo.
Yes.
Board Member Matos.
Yes.
Board Member Javier Lesoto.
Yes.
The motion passes, so congratulations, we have a chair.
And let me explain also why I interrupted Dr. Bennett. One of the rules that we have to, or one of the body of rules that we have to abide by, I forgot to mention, is Robert's Rules of Order. And so you had a motion on the floor, which was seconded, so you had to address that motion first before you can entertain a second motion. So that's why I interrupted you, Dr. Bennett. No offense. All right, so now we will go on to the second, which is the vice chair.
I would like to nominate Lynn Matos for
I'll
vice chair.
second it. I'll second that one.
That's awesome. But I'm going to decline that, and I'd love to nominate Ramiro Guanza for vice chair.
I'll second.
Okay, so we had a motion and a second, which was declined. She would have to accept.
Thank you,
And
though. I appreciate the
No
vote of
problem.
confidence.
And so we have now a new motion and a second, so we need a vote on that.
Would you like to call the question just so I could hear it one more time? So who we nominating once again?
Ramiro,
All right, wait for the,
So the motion on the floor is to nominate Mr. Inguanzo, Board Member Inguanzo as the vice chair, and it's a motion by Board Member Matos, which was seconded by Chair Lei Soto. The roll call. Board Member Matos,
yes.
Board Member Bennett,
yes.
Board Member Abad,
Yes.
Board Member Inguanzo,
Yes.
Board Member Lei Soto.
Yes.
Congratulations, Vice Chair Inguanzo. The motion passes.
This board is in good hands. Thank you.
So before I turn the gavel over to Mr. Lei Soto, again, before you have included in your packet the town charter, you should read it, understand it as best as you can in layman's terms, and be prepared to have discussions as to what changes you would like to see. As far as deadlines, we discussed as far as when our first meeting is, but as far as getting you the items for you to discuss with the chair, Ms. Nguanzo, when would you like that to happen?
Yes, I'm gonna draft an email tomorrow, just letting everybody know what would the deadline be, so that we can all, be on the same page. We abide to the rules. Okay? But I'm looking at the calendar so that we are all on the same page. The first meeting, I believe, would be, let me see, second. So we're looking at the 15th, and correct me, Mr. Manager, I think. We stated the motion that passed was the second
Second Thursday is the
and the fourth Thursday, so,
See,
oh, I'm sorry.
8th and the
Yes,
22nd.
8th and then the 22nd.
so,
Okay, very,
so you would want the items a week before?
I would like them a week before, but I'll put it in writing so that everybody has it, and I'll send the email tomorrow.
So sorry, did you have anything?
No, and you don't have to wait for exactly 1 week before. If you have things, you could send them to Gina well in advance, especially considering that the week before is the 1st of January. We're in the holidays season there. So whenever you have them, you can send them to her. She'd probably appreciate them sooner, better than at the last minute.
This exhausts the agenda, so I'm going to turn it over at this point for any final thoughts or anything that you would like to add to our chair.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to give something to the town clerk to be distributed. This is a copy of Robert's Rules of Order that you can keep with you, just in case you want to be refreshed on something. So if I may.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Make sure our town attorney keeps them very close to him. Right. So as those are being passed out, I guess I'll, if anyone else has any of the committee members who would have any other comments that they'd like to share, any thoughts?
So no, I just wanted to discuss what actually Ms. Nguanzo had mentioned. Are we gonna take it by sections?
Yeah.
Because if we have to go and provide something at first, I mean, I'm assuming it's not January 1st, because that's the week before it will be closed. But we'll be doing Article 1 and Article 2 the first meeting, right?
if I
I
may.
know that was a initial recommendation, and I don't know if there's any comments or other discussions. I know Dr. Bennett and
If I may interject, what we did last time is we looked obviously at the preamble, make sure that we, still believe the preamble is valid. And then we did sections 1 and 2 the first time, and believe it or not, that was our longest meeting, the first one. After that, it got a little bit easier. I don't think there's any problem. I mean, you'll just want to mark up your copy of the current charter, and you bring that with you before you'll send any changes that you may want through Gina, and Gina will put it on the agenda. That's
I'm
the easiest way.
also planning on sending all of you what, it was a report. I think the title was, because this is going to be convenient for all of you. The Charter Revision Commission report to the citizens of the town of Miami Lakes, which was an agenda that the former Revision Commission put together March 2016. It was, of course, presented to the town council, and there you will see the resolution with the former charter, and you will see in blue, instead of red lines, it was blue, you'll see the proposed amendments and revisions that the former charter revision was proposing to the town council. I think it's convenient. Of course, it passed and it went to the voters in May, I think it was. But I'm just going to give you that so that you see more or less. It's like, I think it's convenient for all of you just to review during the holiday seasons. Just look at it so that when we start convening in January, as Dr. Bennett said, our charter has, if I'm not mistaken, 9 sections. The first meeting in January was very important, but it was good because it's basically the Citizens' Bill of Rights and maybe Article 1. And then the following meetings, I think it depended on the discussions the board members had. But I think you basically spoke, every meeting had an article or maybe 2 articles in one. So that can give you an idea. I'm going to provide that in email so that you're all on the same page and you see. Back then, it was 10 questions, 10 recommendations. It was 10 questions that were included in the ballot. It was a mail-in ballot. The mail-in ballot was in May. And again, that was a decision that the board 10 years ago decided. It was presented to the council in March 2016. They approved. And we just, worked together as a group with the town attorneys. And that's what we're going to reciprocate again, but with your recommendations and your input. Not necessarily, again, let me just make this clear. We're not saying at all that it's going to be a mail-in ballot. That will be your decision as a group. I'm just stating that's what it was 10 years ago, and you will have that in writing.
Thank you. And thank you for that, because I was going to ask about if we could get the report together with the edit. So I really appreciate that. So that way we can all review it. I think we have a tentative, we're looking at the first couple of them for our first meeting. What obviously is over the next couple of weeks is just everybody making sure you review the charter, start taking your thoughts of where you would like to be. And then, we'll submit those requests over to the clerk. And so that way she can formulate the final agenda that we're going to have at that time. So that way the public is aware of as well what we're going to be discussing. So that way they can come here and they can come prepared and informed as to which of the provisions we're going to be talking about. Because I don't want to rush through anything. And, given that, your comments that, the first meeting was a little bit longer, it might be because one, it's a first meeting, but secondarily is also it's, these are pretty, as most charters are, your very important things are always very at the very beginning. So those will always take a little bit more time. And so, I don't want to put too much on that meeting. But let's take some time, let's review it, and we'll make that final decision come closer. But I think that's a good sense of we'll just take this through in order unless anybody else has any ideas of how you would like to take this forward in the next coming months.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
I have been working with my executive staff and the clerk's office. We have gone over some areas that we would like to suggest as recommendations for this Charter Revision Commission to consider. So I don't know how you want us or me to present those to you. If you want them to be presented in a written format and just give them to you up front, Do you want me to hold them and then just present them as you go through? If you're doing 1 and 2 on a certain day, we just present the ones for 1 and 2. Do you want an agenda, me to just go through all of the recommendations we have on one of your meetings? So I don't know how you want to consider those.
Sure. Is if you guys already have recommendations that you prepared for the entire charter, maybe giving it to us ahead of time so we can start looking through it over the time period, because that'll also help us assess, hey, look, setting our agenda. These are really things that we need to, or we can jump into, maybe some of the later stuff as well. Say, hey, look, there's not even a lot of, we're hearing from the town staff. And so maybe we can do maybe a third one and put it into, or we can decide of how we're going to do the agenda. Obviously, with the understanding, as we move along, I'm sure there's probably going to be new revisions and amendments coming from your staff, which we'll definitely welcome. But if, unless anyone believes otherwise, I think is getting it to us sooner rather than later, if you have it already, so we can start taking a look at it. And it'll give us also some eyes and some thoughts of where we want to focus on, whether it's, for or against, or even discussing, or maybe, modifying something, give us a good roadmap.
Yeah, I think I'm just fine tuning the final bits. I should be done before the end of, within the next week or two. And then I'll send them to Gina for her to distribute to you as via email. And then that way you'll have the documents there and you can take a look at them and consider them. If you don't, that's fine too. But we, the staff, as well as Gina, we work with the charter all the time, and the town attorney. So we have a unique perspective. I also sat on the original charter commission that wrote the original charter. So I have a little bit of the historical perspective as to the how or why, and how did we get there, and why did we do this, why did we do that for certain things. So I can provide that input, if the commission likes that or wants that. But I'll prepare those and I'll send them to you via Gina before the end of the year.
Absolutely. I appreciate that.
Mr. Chairman?
Yes.
Yeah, the suggestions obviously coming from the staff, I understand is definitely important input because they're actually working within the government. What's important is that the suggestions they make should be given through Gina and then provided to us so that we can consider it. You're the one who's going to be, the chairman will be setting up the agenda. So you'll be the final say, I believe, as far as what's going to be discussed on that evening.
Yes, I think that's the final agenda. And I think what the clerk was discussing initially was that each of the members can say, hey, look, I'd like to have certain topics or discussions to be added to the agenda. It would be through her and, and then she would work with me in finalizing that agenda. Do I have that correct?
Yeah, will the town staff also be going through Gina through to you?
I'm fine. However, I don't necessarily believe that's a sunshine law violation, but I think it helps coordinate it. So that way there's one avenue of contact. So that way it's not a lot of people trying to get together, and she can help coordinate. Hey, look, these are all the different things.
Okay.
This is how we do it. I think it's best organized that way.
Yeah, obviously I just wanted sufficient time to review everything that comes through.
Sure.
Like
And I
electronics.
think
Okay.
the manager said that he's working on getting it sooner rather than later to us. So that way we're ready for it. And in having it in its entirety also gives us an opportunity to start looking forward future meetings as to what's going to be going on from recommendations as well.
Thank you.
Is that fine? All right. Does anyone else have any comments, suggestions, discussions? Yes,
One
Dr.
one
Bennett?
last question. So when we have public comments, people are going to be bringing their thoughts also. Obviously, those won't be on the agenda of that evening. Would it be the discretion of the chairman to bring those suggestions through the town clerk to the committee? Or will can anybody, say, yes, Mr. Smith had a great idea. I'd like to have it on the next agenda. How are we going to work that? From
Okay.
the comments is what I'm saying.
May I interject?
Sure, absolutely.
I would strongly advise against that. You can have public comments, you can have people give their opinion, but I would strongly discourage engaging the public in a conversation back and forth. Because public comments are just that. They're one way to you. You absorb them, you take them in. If you think that it's a good idea, yeah, of course, you are the board members. provide the idea to Gina. Gina can add it to the next.
Yeah, no, public comments by
yeah.
definition is just hearing the public's comments, not to respond to them.
Yes.
We understand that.
Yeah, because I've seen too oftentimes, and I think the clerk can back me up on this one, where we have in smaller committees that will have public comments, and those comments will overtake and overshadow your work. And I think with sometimes boards and committees can get away with it, but you can't. You're under a very, very tight time schedule to cover a very large document that's important. And all of you are going to be reviewing that. You're going to be reviewing staff comments. You're going to be reviewing what's existing, what your ideas are, and you got to get it done by May. So
Yeah.
I would urge that. And again, that's completely your discretion, Mr. Chair. I'm not trying to take any authority away from you, but you know, they're under our rules, it's 3 minutes for public comments. And I would discourage engaging in back and forth conversation.
I was going to add 1 second, and is exactly that, is that, you know, the public comments is for us to listen to the extent that you guys feel that there is public comment that's received that you find is going to be helpful or instructive, or some item that'll be addressed. I think it'll follow that same process. If it's not on the current agenda for that day, it'll be brought up for the future agenda for the future meeting. And that'll be the responsibility of us as committee members sitting up here to bring it up and say, hey, look, you know, this is something that I think I've heard it from the public. I've heard it from one person. I've heard it from 100 people, that this is a big topic, and you know, we want to address it. We want to be able to talk about this issue, and we'll go forward with that aspect of it.
And just one thing, yeah, that causes a little bit of a problem, because if they're going to be commenting on that day's agenda, and then we want to incorporate something further on the next agenda, obviously we've already passed that topic. In other words, the topic has already been covered and we're moved on to the next one.
Sure.
That's why I'm asking about how public comments are to be handled. That's
Yeah.
kind of why I threw the question up.
I think it happens like any other public body meeting, in that, you know, in that experience is, I think what'll happen at that point is, you know, I'm not going to be treating our meetings as, once we've passed an article, we're not going back to it. I think that would be a very bad decision on our part if we were to go forward with that aspect of it. I think we're going to handle it primarily in that aspect of it. If something good comes up, or there's a strong sentiment coming either from the public and or even from staff could, after our meeting, they could come up and say, hey, look, you know what, something we've proposed may not work well. Or they say, hey, look, there's something we've proposed that they didn't think of, that they think, hey, look, you know what, we can expand upon it and come up with something. I don't think it's going to preclude us from later bringing that up at a subsequent meeting and doing that. But we would want to focus ourselves, so we are staying on our timeline, and I don't want to say, okay, well, you know what, meeting 2, we're going to be revisiting everything that we did all over again. It's just more of just trying to tweak if necessary, if we need to. And then hopefully by the time we're finished, maybe having one big recap of, you know, one last hurrah of taking a look at things if needed as we're going. So when we have one final document that we're almost there.
If I can, through the chair, to the clerk, written public comments that you receive are distributed to us.
Yes, I'm going to do exactly what I do with a regular council meeting with the elected officials. Written public comments are welcome. I receive them. I respond to the person who wrote them, and I email them. I share it with all the board members. I'll just state this is the written public comments. They're not read into the record, but I distribute them as soon as I get them. And I also provide a physical hard copy on the dais in case you didn't have time to look at your emails before you meet as a board and you make decisions and vote. You have them here. And I also, during public comments, when we are starting the meeting, I also always say, please take note that John Doe sent an email earlier today addressed to all of you. Please take it into consideration or please review. That's it. So absolutely, they're welcome, as we always do with council meetings.
Great, thank you. I had one question as well, just additionally, sorry, is what kind of advertising are we going to be putting out in addition to obviously the standard advertising? Are we going to be doing to inform the community that we're going to be welcoming their comments and suggestions?
What I always do, I use the Laker as our main newspaper. So it will be published probably twice a month. letting the residents know about the commission meetings. And as well, of course, in the lobby, we use the TV screens and on the town website. So people will know well in advance. That's what I'm hoping, that in a month, always prior to a month, the 2 meetings will be advertised.
Okay, thank you. And one quick follow-up to that aspect of it is with regards to the Laker or any other type of media, if they reach out to any of our committee members, what is your recommendation or suggestion on both from the town side, but also from the legal side of how we handle any of those types of requests and responding, given that we wouldn't be speaking in our official capacity, most likely?
Responding to what type of questions?
If they reach out to us, they want to get comments from us, suggestions, if they want to interview us concerning our role here on, if you could give for the various community members how you would like it to handle, or even just recommendations.
Sure. So, I mean, if you want to meet with anyone and hear them out, and you feel that there's someone that has been very involved in the community, and you want to get their feedback, you want to get the feedback of the council member, of the mayor, you're all free to do so. Always be cognizant, though, any written communication that you have with this person is subject to public records. So, be cautious when it comes to that. But you're open, as long as you're not having conversations with each other and you with your colleagues. You're good.
Yeah, I would like to add to that we have a great working relationship with the Laker. They usually come to me, they come to the town manager, and they come to Ms. Claricel de Cárdenas in communications. And as the deputy town attorney stated, we provide facts. It is public record. They did that already, I want to say maybe late November. We provided your names and your titles. They're open to maybe reaching out to you and as you feel fit. But I do agree with the town attorney, less is more, and just stay to facts.
Any other questions, comments from the committee members? All right, if there's nothing else going further, I just ask as everybody is just review the town charter, review the documentation that we're going to getting from the clerk as well as from the town manager about what the suggestions are for the next one. And, let's be prepared to move forward. And, I'm looking forward to this committee and hearing from all of you guys and hearing from all of our residents in the near future and looking where we're going to be in the next 10 years with our charter. Thank you very much. Do I have to take a motion for adjournment? Take a motion for adjournment? Second? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Seeing none, motion passes. Thank you.